Basically, everyone was asking me the other day, hey, what happened to Dan's truck? What's going on with it? You never finished the video you said you're going to finish. So I wanted to wait till today. I got some new parts, and I wanted to kind of explain what I found after I posted the video on my story of all the oil leaking, under the crank. Obviously, thought it was a rear main. I pulled the rear main out, and it had another issue. So this is the rear main I pulled out. There's RTV hanging on it, not a good sign. So when I pulled it out, I noticed that this rear retainer housing that I have had some like screw marks in it. Like somebody had tried to put a screw through it, missed, or it went in crooked, nicked the housing, and they filled it with some RTV to try to, mask it and prevent it from, leaking. But obviously, this RTV is causing an imperfect, along with the screw, mark, an improper mating surface on this thing, and we never put RTV on a rear main seal. So, they have, as you can see, they tried to fill it right here and right here. And no, I did not put any other than my screw right here. No, I did not put a screw in the wrong way. But basically, this rear retainer housing, we got a new one from Cummins. They ended up going right through the side of here, causing this thing to essentially, to your eyes, it looks all right, but it's not going to seal properly, especially with the RTV. So we ended up getting a new one of those. We got a new gasket from Cummins. I mean, we went all OEM on this thing because big jobs, we want, OEM, high quality, what came from the dealer, what we know that works, so we don't have this issue again and have to pull the transmission out again, all that stuff. So we spent a little bit of money. We got the good parts. So today I'm basically going to take, once it stops raining, I'm going to get his truck inside, and I'm going to basically get a video. Actually, you know what? I'll post a picture, and I'm going to take a video, everything coming apart, putting the transmission back in, putting the good rear main back into here, and get this thing all sealed up and, make sure it's not leaking. I'll end up driving it back to his shop later. We're going to swap trucks because he's got another one for me to work on. So we'll do a whole thing about, what we find with that. But just be, meticulous if you are either picking a mechanic or if you are a mechanic, you find little stuff like this that doesn't look right. After you do it for a couple of years, you tend to notice some things that aren't right, and are obviously, in this case, it's going to cause another leak. So just, trust your mechanic, or find a trustworthy one, because I could have just put a rear main in this thing. It had a little RTV in those little screw holes, and pretty much gave it back to him, and told him who knows why it's leaking. It's got 200,000 on it, all this bullshit. But we're gonna end up fixing it right. He was appreciative that, obviously he's one of my close friends, so obviously want to do this job right for him, even though it sucks ordering more parts. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're gonna fix this right for him, so when he's towing and doing all of his work stuff with this truck, he has no more issues with this rear main seal. So obviously, this is cheaper than buying a transmission. In the long run, this thing wasn't that expensive, but we want to do it right. We want to give it back to him, in perfect condition, so he can drive it and be happy with it and know that his money was well spent. Then again, it's just being careful and looking at what you are finding when you are pulling stuff apart, because obviously, in this case too, people don't care. They just put stuff back in. They try to mask it, seal it up. This stuff, you have to be super meticulous about this. So we're gonna make a video today, kind of finishing up on his truck. Stay tuned on my story too, because I'm gonna end up posting a bunch of the smaller clips and everything about his truck. So stay tuned.